YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dice. So, wanted to talk about Snowfall as a review for season 5. Now, it picks up from season 4, where alliances were made and some things just came awry, but it was still in the breath of Franklin is at odds with Teddy, and how Louis and Jerome is also at odds with Franklin. Now, this season introduced us to Franklin's baby mama, per se, and see how he has a baby on the way, and that brought Sissy back from Cuba. But, and we'll get into that, but it was just a lot going on trying to figure out how this is all going to end. And I was happy they're having a final season, which I thought this season would be final season, but I still like the fact that, we had a really good season finale. And in case you haven't watched the full season, this is a spoiler. So if you guys haven't watched the full season or just not catching up, please don't watch this, because this is a review of the whole thing. So I am going to jump around, but it's just based off memory because it started from February and now we're in April. So I am going to jump around to the memorable moments of this season. So from my understanding, and that's why I said I liked how the season finale wrapped up with Teddy wanting to come back to LA because, he got outed as what happened with his father, outing him, and how that all just went awry. And Franklin was trying to stop it. Teddy was trying to stop it, but, end up having Alton and Sissy move to Cuba. And then at the end, you seen Teddy in Cuba, and how he's always telling Franklin, I don't know what happened to your dad. But you see in the beginning how everyone's prospering, and, everybody's kind of chilling out. Franklin is involved in real estate businesses. Just with the new CIA Connect, he was more of a lavish type of guy, kind of like playing that drug kingpin, just doing what he wants, wild parties. And Gustavo, on the other hand, is doing what he does, but he gets to go home to his family every night. So it was no craziness going on for about a year and a half that Teddy was gone. And then Teddy, finding out that Teddy is not with the CIA but just a contractor, gets back into the mix. Is like, I want to go back in. I want to, finish what I started. And how everything was so chipper at the end. And then Teddy comes back, and now we're back in the thick of it. Teddy's like, now you don't have to call me Reed no more. Call me Teddy. The fact that now we're going to keep the numbers for the bricks. Like, yeah, you guys been flourishing. You're doing too much. And so he's like, now we're going to cut that back. It's time to kind of, you need to be in the shadows. You don't need to be out doing all these craziness things, because Teddy knew the end of the road is, yeah, we're just going to set up Franklin and you're going to go to jail. Him and all the other stuff, we're going to deny all of it. No, you were doing this the whole time, and we'll have a lot of plausible deniability dealing with you. So Teddy was trying to put that back in place, where Franklin is like, no, I'm from under your thumb of, you're the one that's keeping this always going, so I want to kind of do my own thing and be legit. And Teddy's like, no, you don't need to do all that. No. So basically, it's the government trying to put their thumb back on Franklin and be like, no, get back in your place, because you're going to do this or you're going to die, or we're going to just send you to jail and you're not going to have anything. So, Teddy put that back in place, and it was just haywire from there. He started listening in on, the conversations, trying to do drops different. And just at one of these times, you see the drops really, really different, where somebody's trying to, shoot up the drop that Teddy was at and Gustavo was at, and it was kind of like, man, how the hell that, someone knows. And Teddy's looking at Franklin like, man, your house ain't in order. I see that Louis, people that work for you is in charge, so how you the middleman in your own business? So it's like, yeah, nah, we ain't doing all that. You doing too much. It's just too much. So you've seen this, it was just getting really thick after that. Then they had the introduction of Kane, which is Kevin's brother. So basically, you got to answer for season 1, because Kane was the OG that showed them when they were kids how, Leon, Franklin, Kevin, but he was a gangster, but had a lot of morals, if that makes sense. So it was trying to instill those morals, like you don't have to be out here doing all this stuff, but it just, in case you do, then this is what you do, basically. So, but that goes into the rift with Louis and Jerome, because Louis is really becoming that queen pin, doing their own thing, and Jerome is just kind of like, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth. So Louis is becoming a problem where I want to make my own decisions. We do our own thing. We don't have to we're still buying from you, but we don't have to, because our business is basically locked tight now. I'm doing businesses in other states. So Louis is kind of like, we don't have to work with you. So that's kind of putting a feud in with Franklin. Like, well, what does that mean? So Teddy's kind of getting involved in that. Was like, and on top of Kane being introduced as shooting at all of them, knowing where they all are, and Louis like, oh no, can't have that. But Louis also has a police on the inside that is crooked, and still trying to, he's in that lifestyle. He's a cokehead, and just, he likes the extra money and what that brings him. So it's kind of like, has a cop on the payroll, and he chomps at the bits with busting the projects, which is Leon. And he's like, well, I asked, to do something. You need to, so I could look good and not just have my department on me. Like, what are you doing? All this stuff. It's like, no. So they have a lot of rifts and a lot of things going on in that aspect. And with this police, I kind of saw his ending this season, but as he progressed and became, after he got that money from Louis, to be like, hey, put this hit out on Kane, although we all talked about it, said, yeah, we're good if you guys are good, because, after he tried to hit all of them, Louis had that, I know dudes like him, he ain't gonna go away, so he needs to go away now. And looked in Leon and Franklin, because they both look up to him, and it's like, no, he's gonna make him part of the family, make sure he makes money. But she kind of had that outside understanding, like, yeah, that may satisfy him for a while, but wait till he is done with the money, he has enough money, he's still gonna come after you. So she had the police dude go after him, try to put a hit on him, just blatantly try to shoot him, and he ended up losing his job because the guy's not dead, his partner died. So they're trying to have a lot of what's going on, why were you here in the first place, who tipped you off. So now he, it's like, okay, yeah, you doing something you ain't got no business, and a cop is dead behind it. So he got let go of the force, and it made him go down just a spiraling road. But, eventually he's like, Louis is like, no, you got your family here. We can pay you double. Just keep your connections and just be a private investigator, and we're good. So that's basically how that ended off with police guy and Louis. But Louis, because of that move that she put on Kane, it made her into, okay, yeah, she's legit. Then she makes that deal with Teddy to go behind Franklin's back to just buy directly from Teddy, because we don't really need Franklin. Franklin's the middleman. That's what happens. So that's what happened, and it put further that feud. But I felt bad for Jerome, because Jerome had that, still having that, I want to get out, but it's because of you, I'm really in it. And fast forwarded to their wedding. There was a crazy wedding, and that episode was kind of crazy when, they dropped acid, and Franklin is, talking to himself, fighting his demons and stuff like that. Like, you, him, her. But it was a reflection of a bad trip, but it's a reflection off of all the trauma he's sustained, and he's having a bad trip on it. And that was a crazy episode, but and I was telling myself, that was like the only episode, the last that we saw Scully. Because Scully was the one who dropped acid and all the chocolate and all the champagne. It was like, everybody gonna get, that's thank you for the, this the party gift. Like, I can still work you if I really want to, because I ain't fully over it either. So that's just that. And another episode I really did like was the Tiger episode with because of, I mentioned earlier, with Teddy, Gustavo, and Franklin getting shot at their drop. It's now they're on foot, they have to run, and they're running through this, Mexican neighborhood, gang affiliated neighborhood. And it's like, man, what's in your bag? So now they have to really get through this hood to get to a payphone and try to get out of there. They ain't got no ammo, ain't got no guns to scare them to get out. So it's really, really dangerous, and they end up going against that Tiger. I didn't like the Tiger, but it was just a good episode for them to have to really find their way. It brought me back to my season 1 roots that gave me that anxiety of them being in the hood, of the politics, the stuff that you got to go through. It was a lot that they had to go through. So I really liked that episode. But even with the KGB, who Sissy's working with, he's to me, I was trying to figure out who he works for and who Sissy was talking to. And he really was just an infiltrator. And I was telling myself, last night, I'm like, who is that? He's El Chapo from Narcos. So I'm glad to see that he's still doing his thing. But as a KGB in this, I was like, oh, dang, he really was trying to, take out Teddy. And that's basically what the season finale is that when because Teddy is doing so much, and then Franklin's already knowing about Teddy, then Teddy killing Franklin's dad, but who knows? I still tell myself, I'm like, who knows? Teddy may have not. Maybe it could have been the KGB to frame Teddy so we can get him. And that's why I was telling myself, I'm like, okay, it's going to get interesting. It's going to get a lot more political in this last season because now it's the KGB involved. So I sit there and tell myself, I'm like, what's going on with that? I didn't see that coming. So, and even with the wife or Franklin's baby mama, she got a lot of flack, but her role was, man, she went to go sit down with Kane and all. Like, you sitting with the ops, trying to talk, trying to get your way out of it. Hey, I have a baby. Don't be doing this craziness around me. And Kane was still respectful enough. Was like, man, I understand that, but don't be around your people. You know what I'm saying? Just stay. That's the only way you stay safe. Get away from them. And even at the end in the season review, I'm really nasally, sick. But at the season finale, she really made that call and was like, I'm in a bit of a trouble. I really need your help. I haven't talked to you in a while. So I'm thinking, who did you reach out to? But she did say her past was, I learned how to really scam really, really good. I learned how to do a lot of things, to make sure stuff was, to stay afloat. And that's just how I moved around. So I was telling myself, I'm like, okay. So I want to know what that's going to have to do with next season, which I'm excited to see what her origin or her backstory is. But at the end, KGB is creeping up on trying to get intel from Franklin and try to get for Teddy. And even in the season finale, he gets close. He gets to Javi and kidnaps Javi. And ends up, Javi's gone. So, I was telling myself, I was looking to see him like, okay, yeah, he survived a lot. He survived a lot of Israeli stuff. He's been all around the world. Like, he's an arms dealer. So he's really survived a whole lot, and a lot of times he got shot at, in previous seasons. And I'm like, all right, he's always surviving. So finally got clipped, at the hands of the KGB. And that was just how he went out. And I was just telling myself, I'm like, okay, we're having some legs with it, because the last 2 episodes, it was hinting that Franklin is like, okay, I'm meeting with Teddy because you went behind my back and start going with Louis to buy bricks directly. And that's 70% of where Franklin gets his money from. So it's like, you really cutting me out. So Franklin's like, I'm gonna just walk away. And he made about $73 million. And Teddy was like, well, you can't just walk away from it. So what Teddy did was take all of his money. And that made Franklin become extremely desperate. And it's like, I need money, so I can't access any of my money. You took all of it. He basically seized it and gave it to the CIA. So Franklin had to go, the ways of, man, I got to go get it, got to go do this. And basically had to steal from Jerome and Louis just to have some money. And he had to move around with it. So I'm like telling myself, Franklin really became that monster, but he's also created monsters with Jerome and Louis, because even when Jerome was like, man, you learn how to squabble. I'm like, damn, they handle business totally different than Franklin would. And I feel like Franklin always tried to keep a level head, although he was menacing, had to kill people when he had to. But, Louis and Jerome, I could see them creating more enemies than friends. So I see, why Franklin had to do that, because he was like, I helped y'all build it. So, and you won't help me. Fine. But that's going to create a lot of more tension in next season. But overall, I really love this season. I really was telling myself some things you could have did without, which was the LSD scene. episode, and also the tiger and the Iliad and the tiger, because it was CGI tiger, was horrible. But I was sitting there telling myself that's not believable, to say the least. I kid you not, that's not believable. But I was like, well, I really like this direction. I really like to see how things are going to sew up with John Singleton passing away. So you can't really get his whole vision of the whole story. But if he did, they got it. I'm perfect. I'm perfectly happy how this is wrapping up. So you guys enjoyed my review of season 5 of Snowfall. Subscribe to my channel. Post, comment down below, and like the video. It's your boy, D Dice. Peace.